Hey, welcome. Today we're going to talk about something a lot of us feel but don't always have the words for. We're diving into the subtle, research-backed signs that therapy could be an amazing tool for you, even when, on the surface, you feel totally fine.
So, does this sound familiar? From the outside, you're crushing it. You're hitting your goals, managing all your responsibilities, but on the inside, something's just not quite right. It's a feeling we see a lot, especially with high-achieving professionals right here in Chester County. If that hits home, you're in exactly the right place.
So, let's start with this really crucial idea. There's a huge difference between functioning and flourishing. Functioning is, getting things done, checking off the to-do list. But flourishing, that's about feeling fulfilled, living with a real sense of meaning. And bridging that gap is where the real magic happens.
All right, so let's dive into that. We're going to explore this hidden gap between just getting by and actually living a life that feels good, because that space right there is where all the opportunity for growth is. I think one of the biggest barriers is this old idea that therapy is only for when you're in a full-blown crisis. But here's what the research actually tells us. Therapy is an incredible tool for proactive well-being. Think of it less like an emergency room and more like a gym for your mental and emotional health.
So, how do you know if it's the right time to, check in with someone? Well, let's break it down. We're going to walk through 5 key, research-backed signs that suggest you could really benefit from some extra support.
Okay, first up, sign number 1. Life just feels harder. Even though you're still getting everything done, the amount of effort it takes, that internal energy you're burning through, is just getting higher and higher.
And here's what that can actually look like day to day. It's when simple, routine stuff suddenly feels draining. Or maybe your fuse is just a lot shorter lately. You might struggle to focus, or you feel totally worn down, even when you know you got a solid 8 hours of sleep. These are all little signals that your internal battery is running low.
All right, on to our second sign. This is that feeling of constant, low-level emotional strain. You can think of it like emotional background noise. It's this quiet hum of stress or worry that a lot of us high achievers just get really good at ignoring.
And what's really interesting here is how this strain shows up physically. It's your mind racing at 2 in the morning when you just want to sleep. It's replaying that one conversation over and over again. It's the tension headaches or the tightness in your shoulders. Your body is often trying to tell you something that your mind is trying to push through.
And this is a really, really important point. The research is clear. This kind of distress is worth paying attention to. It's not something you should just power through. Getting support early is actually a huge sign of strength, and it's one of the best ways to keep things from getting worse down the line.
Our third sign is a little different. It's this feeling of flatness, or like you're on autopilot. The key here is that it's not always about feeling bad, it's more about a lack of feeling good. You're just kind of going through the motions.
And man, this one can be so subtle. Maybe you get that promotion you work so hard for, but it just feels hollow. The hobbies you used to love feel more like a chore. This loss of joy, there's actually a word for it, anhedonia, is a huge indicator that you've lost connection with what really lights you up. And this is where the research gets so cool. It shows that getting rid of problems and building well-being are actually 2 different things. So therapy isn't just about stopping the bad stuff. It's about actively building the good stuff. It's about helping you create a life that's truly satisfying. Okay, moving on to sign number 4. A lot of times, when things are off internally, it starts to show up in our relationships. So take a second and think, are you noticing the same frustrating patterns playing out again and again with the people in your life?
Maybe it's having the exact same fight with your partner over and over, or feeling constantly misunderstood at work. Maybe it's that feeling of being lonely even when you're in a room full of people. These recurring issues are often pointing to deeper patterns, and therapy is an amazing place to untangle them and learn healthier ways to connect.
And finally, our 5th sign, using unhealthy habits to cope. And this one is sneaky because it's about the ways we try to manage all that internal pressure, often without even realizing these habits have become a crutch.
You know what I'm talking about? It's that extra glass of wine every night to unwind. It's staying busy at work to avoid dealing with what's at home. It's doom scrolling on your phone to escape your own thoughts. These things aren't about being bad, they're just signals that your main coping skills are stretched to their limit.
So if these signs are so common, why on earth do we wait so long to get help? It's a great question, right? So let's talk about the very real, very common barriers that get in our way.
It's that little voice in our head that says, "Oh, it's not that bad," or "I should be able to handle this on my own." We worry about what other people will think, about being seen as weak. And honestly, especially in our culture, we've started to see chronic stress as just the price you pay for being successful. These are the biggest reasons people wait.
But what if we just flip the script on that? Let's talk about therapy not as crisis management, but as a powerful, proactive tool for getting clarity and sparking real growth in your life.
One really effective way to do this is with something called the Deep Insight Model. So instead of just putting a Band-Aid on the symptoms, this approach uses powerful psychological tools to help you get to the root cause, the why behind your patterns. It's about building genuine self-understanding that leads to lasting change.
So, if any of this is resonating with you, if you're nodding along, what's the next step? Let's make this super simple and practical and talk about a private way you can explore your options, right here in the Kennett Square and broader Chester County area.
It really just starts with this, acknowledging to yourself that maybe some of these things feel true for you. From there, the next step is just a conversation. It's a free, completely private consultation where you can just ask questions. There's no pressure, no commitment. It's just a chance to see if it feels right.
At Edward, Jenny & Associates, we serve Kennett Square, West Grove, and all of Chester County, and that first conversation is waiting for you. Reaching out isn't a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that you're ready to invest in yourself. So the real question is, are you ready to move beyond just functioning and finally start flourishing?